Alright, today I'm going to show you how to build a gym from zero. Not the version people daydream about, the real one. Every number, every permit, and every mistake that closes these places in year one. In the order you actually have to do it, this is where it starts: an empty room. A mid-sized neighborhood gym costs between $250,000 and $700,000 to open. That is the honest range. Serving one more member costs you almost nothing. No ingredients, no bay time, no oven, and yet most of these places still lose money. That is the whole puzzle of this business, and by the end you will know exactly how many members it takes to survive. Every month, 3 to 5 out of every 100 members quit. You're refilling a leaking bucket for as long as you own the place. No motivation, no transformation stories, just the lease, the equipment, the permits, the pricing, and the 5 numbers you watch every week. In the order you actually have to do it, grab a pen if you want. Here's the part nobody says out loud. Most gyms that close did not fail from laziness. They fail for 5 reasons, and 4 are decided before the doors ever open. Reason 1. Rent is too big for the membership base around it. Above 25% of revenue, a gym dies slowly and quietly. Reason 2. You open the doors cold, no pre-sold memberships, no waiting list, and the first rent payment lands before anyone joins. Reason 3. The price is set by looking at the cheap chain down the road, not by the cost of your own floor space. Reason 4. Nobody watches churn. Members leave quietly, and the owner only notices when the bank balance stops covering payroll in March. Reason 5. Every dollar goes into shiny equipment on day 1, and there's nothing left to survive the first 6 quiet months. Now the strange part: one extra member on your floor costs you almost nothing. No stock, no materials, no extra labor at all. Which means the entire business is fixed cost. Rent, staff, and power are the same, whether 400 people show up or 4. So a gym does not sell workouts, it sells access to capacity, and it survives because most of that capacity is never actually used. About half your members come less than once a week. Roughly 1 in 10 never comes at all after the first month. If every member showed up at 6 in the evening, the floor would not physically hold them. That is not cynical. That is the design. Before any numbers, you pick a model. There are 4. They need completely different money, and only one of them fits a first-time owner. Model 1, the micro gym or studio, 800 to 2,500 square feet, one narrow specialty, small groups, and personal sessions. 50 to 250,000 to open, high price per head, few members, and your income depends on whether people like you personally. Model 2, the budget, big box, 15 to 30,000 square feet, a low price, thousands of members and card access around the clock. 800,000 to 3 million to open. It sells volume at a price that only works if the building is enormous. Model 3, the mid-sized neighborhood gym, 5 to 10,000 square feet, machines, free weights, a couple of class slots, a middle price. 250 to 700,000 to open, the most common shape for a single owner. So this is the one we build. Model 4, personal training with no building. You rent floor time inside someone else's gym or travel to clients. 2 to 10,000 to start. It is the cheapest way to find out if you can keep clients at all before you sign a 7-year lease. Your member is not an athlete. They live or work within about a 10-minute drive, and they quit the moment that drive feels long. Count the homes and the offices inside that circle, divide by the gyms already sitting in it. That number decides your ceiling before you start. If the circle cannot hold roughly 1,000 members, the mid-size model will not work there. Pick the studio instead, or pick another street. Every business in this series has one unit: a chair hour, a bay hour, an oven load. Here it is: one active member. A membership runs $25 to $70 a month. Budget rooms sit at the bottom, mid-sized neighborhood gyms near $45 to $60. Serving that member costs you close to nothing. A little power, a little water, a little wear. Call it $2 or $3 a month. So gross margin tells you nothing here. The only questions that matter are how much a member costs to get and how long they stay. Getting one member costs $50 to $150 once you count ads, referral credits, free trials, and the selling hours. Now churn. 3 to 5% of your members quit every single month. That is normal. Below 3 is excellent, above 6 is bleeding. Over a year, that is 40 to 60% of your base gone. Selling memberships is never a launch. It is a permanent job. Divide 1 by your monthly churn and you get the average life of a member. 5% gives 20 months, 3 gives 33. At $50 a month in 20 months, one member is worth $1,000 in revenue. That single number decides everything you spend. Spend 100 to get 1,000 and you're fine. Spend 100 to get 300 because they quit fast and you close. which is why cutting churn from 5% to 3 beats any advertising you will ever buy. It multiplies every member already there. A member who trains with a coach quits about half as often. That is the single strongest retention lever in this entire business.
Yes, the economics rely on people not showing up. But a membership nobody can cancel turns into complaints, chargebacks, and terrible reviews.
Make canceling easy. Earn the money by keeping people, not by trapping them. The trap works for 1 year and poisons the next 5. Now the number that actually matters. Not revenue, not members on paper, how many active paying members it takes to cover the fixed monthly bill. Start with rent. For 5 to 10,000 square feet, expect $6,000 to $20,000 a month, plus common area charges and property taxes. Then labor, front desk cover, cleaning and a manager run $8,000 to $20,000 a month once you're open 7 days a week. Power, water, and heat run 5 to 10% of revenue. Ventilation and hot showers are the reason this line is higher than you expect. Equipment service is 2 to 5% of revenue. Card processing about 3%, and then software, insurance, and music licensing on top of that. Add it up, and a mid-sized neighborhood gym carries $25,000 to $50,000 of fixed cost every month before anyone joins. Divide that by your membership price. At $50 a month, $30,000 of fixed cost needs 600 active members just to stand still. For most mid-sized neighborhood gyms, the break-even sits between 400 and 800 active members. Under 400, the model is a studio. Active means paying this month, not signed up last year, not frozen, not disputing the charge, paying this month at the full price. Most gyms need 12 to 18 months to reach that count, which is why the working capital line is not optional. And check it against the room. If break-even needs more members than your floor can hold at 6 in the evening, the site is wrong. Here's where the money goes. 10 lines. Every single one of them is bigger than a first-time owner expects it to be. Build out and finishes, $100,000 to $300,000. Walls, ceilings, electrics, plumbing for the showers, and reinforcing the floor for heavy loads. Machines and free weights, $100,000 to $250,000. Cardio, selectorized machines, racks, benches, bars, and plates for a 5,000-foot floor. Flooring, $15,000 to $40,000. Rubber under the free weights is not decoration. It is what stops a dropped bar cracking the slab underneath. Mirrors and lighting, $10,000 to $25,000. Bad lighting makes a clean gym look like a basement, and people judge it in 4 seconds. Locker rooms and showers, $50,000 to $150,000. This is the line that surprises everyone. Tiling, drainage, hot water, and ventilation are expensive. You can skip showers if your members come from home nearby. You cannot skip them if you want the office crowd at lunchtime. Ventilation, $20,000 to $60,000. A room full of people needs real air handling. Smell is the fastest way to lose paid members. Access control and software, $5,000 to $15,000. Door readers, member management, billing, and the camera system if you plan to run overnight hours. Signage, $10,000 to $30,000. Your sign is the only advertising working every hour of every day, and the landlord will have rules. Lease deposits and prepaid rent, usually 3 to 6 months up front, plus a personal guarantee the landlord will ask for, and you cannot avoid. Working capital, $50,000 to $150,000, 6 months of rent and payroll sitting in the bank. This line is what keeps you alive. Add the lines and you land between $250,000 and $700,000. If your plan says $90,000, you have missed something. Add 15% on top for the surprises. Every build finds a drain in the wrong place or a panel that cannot carry the load. Now, where the money comes from. There are 4 sources, and almost every owner ends up using 3 of them at the same time. Your own cash first. Expect to fund 20 to 30% yourself. No lender covers a gym build-out without the owner bleeding first. Then a bank loan. An SBA-backed loan stretches the build-out over 10 years, which is the only way the monthly payment stays survivable. The bank will want a personal guarantee, collateral, 2 years of tax returns, and a plan that shows break-even in members, not in wishes. Third, lease the equipment. It keeps $100,000 in your pocket at the cost of paying noticeably more in total over 5 years. Lease the cardio, buy the iron outright. Nobody will finance a used rack anyway, and a used rack will comfortably outlive both of us. Fourth, and the one people skip, sell memberships before you open a founder rate. 6 weeks out, cash in the door before the doors exist. Aim to open with 200 to 300 members already paying. That is half your break-even covered on the first day of trading. And do not spend that pre-sale money on the build. It is the cushion for month 4, when the excitement wears off. Location decides more of your result than anything you will do after opening. 6 things matter, and only 2 of them are obvious ones. 1. People per square mile around the door. A gym lives on a 10-minute drive, and it mostly lives on a 5-minute one. Count apartments, not passing traffic. Nobody detours across town for a treadmill. They come from the buildings you can see from your own parking lot. 2. Parking. At 6 in the evening, you need one bay for every 4 members on the floor, or they will simply drive home. 3. Ceiling height. You want 12 feet clear. Under 10 and the room feels like a corridor, and the racks will not fit at all. 4. The slab. Ground floor is almost mandatory. Dropped weights on an upper floor mean noise complaints and an engineer report you cannot afford. 5. Your neighbors. In a strip mall, a dropped barbell travels straight through the wall. An office beside you complains within a week. The ideal neighbor is a grocery store, a laundromat, anything that closes early. Shared parking helps you, and the noise bothers nobody at all. 6. Visibility. A unit people already drive past twice a day sells memberships for free. A back unit behind the building never stops costing you. Now, the lease itself, 5 to 10 years with a personal guarantee, you are signing for the whole term whether the gym works or not. Negotiate a fit-out contribution. The landlord improves the building either way, so ask for $20 to $60 a square foot toward the work. Ask for 3 to 6 months of free rent during construction and exclusivity, so the landlord cannot put a gym 2 doors down. Ask for an assignment, right, and a break option. If you ever sell the gym, the lease is most of what the buyer buys. The permits. This is where 6 weeks turn into 6 months. If you sign the lease before you have checked a single one of them. First use. A gym is an assembly use in most codes. If the unit was retail, you need a change of use permit. Second, plan review. Drawing stamped by an engineer, submitted, corrected, resubmitted, budget 8 to 16 weeks, and do not order equipment before approval. Third, accessibility. Door widths and accessible restroom, a changing bench, clear routes between the machines. This gets checked and it gets enforced. Fourth, mechanical. Air changes per hour for an occupied room and exhaust for the showers. Your architect will size it, your budget will feel it. Fifth, exits and travel distance. Every rack and every machine has to sit outside the exit path, which quietly costs you usable floor space. Sixth, a defibrillator required in many places, sensible everywhere. Someone on shift has to know where it is and how it is used. Seventh, insurance, general liability, professional liability for your coaches, property cover, and cover for the equipment itself, $4,000 to $12,000 a year. Eighth, the waiver. Every member signs one at joining. It will not stop a lawsuit, but it decides how that lawsuit begins. And write an incident protocol before you need one. Who calls, who writes the report, who stays 10 minutes now or a deposition later. Equipment. This is the biggest single check you write, and the easiest place to waste $80,000 on things that nobody uses. One rule covers most of it. Buy the iron used, buy the cardio new or used with a warranty and a documented service history. A rack does not wear out. A plate does not wear out. A 20-year-old bar with rust costs a fraction of new. A treadmill has a motor, a belt, a deck, and a board. Running 8 hours a day. Used cardio without warranty is a repair bill. Used iron comes from gyms that closed, hotel refits and auctions, cents on the dollar, and the freight will still manage to surprise you. Buy for the members you have, not the gym in your head. 2 racks, benches, a dumbbell run, a cable stack, then cardio. A rough guide. 1 cardio machine for every 15 to 20 active members, and 1 squat rack for every 150 of them. A dumbbell run costs more than people expect. 10 to 15,000 of metal on 1 rack, and the busiest corner in the room. Service contracts run 2 to 5% of revenue. A machine left broken for 3 weeks tells members exactly what you think of them. Keep spare cables, pins, clips, and belts in a box on site. The part costs $10. The technician visit costs $250. Delivery and installation is a separate line. Machines arrive in crates on a truck with no tail lift and no crew, unless you paid. And leave 20% of the floor empty on opening day. You will learn what your members actually use in the first 3 months. Layout. The number to hold in your head is square feet per person training at the same time, 40 to 80, depending what they do. Your gym does not have 400 members at once. It has a peak hour, 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. Roughly 1 in 10 of your active members is on the floor at peak. 600 members means about 60 people in the room. 60 people at 50 square feet each is 3,000 square feet of working floor. That is your real capacity, not the lease size. Split the room into zones. Cardio on the window wall, machines in the middle, free weights on the solid floor at the back. Then walk the route a member takes. Door, desk, locker, floor, water out. If those lines cross, the room feels crowded at half capacity. Lockers, 1 for every 4 members on the floor at peak. Showers, 1 for every 12. Under that, and the complaints start in week 2. From the desk, you should see the entrance, the free weight area, and the corridor to the lockers. What you cannot see, you cannot supervise. And watch the desk at 6 in the evening. A queue at the turnstile is the cheapest warning that your peak exceeds the room. You can oversell a gym, every budget chain does. But past a point, the regulars leave, and the regulars stay for years. Pricing, 3 tiers, not 7. People do not compare 7 things. They get confused and then they leave without joining anything at all. A base tier at your headline price, a middle tier with classes, a top tier with coaching. Most people take the middle one on purpose. For a mid-sized neighborhood gym that is roughly $40, $60, and $120 a month. Anchor low, then earn on the middle. Charge a joining fee, $50 to $100. It repays your acquisition cost immediately and filters out the people who quit fast. Offer an annual paid in advance at 10 months of price. Cash now, no churn for a year, and a member who has already decided. Personal training is your second business. Sessions run $60 to $90. The coach takes most and the gym keeps 30 to 50%. In a healthy mid-sized gym, coaching is 20 to 30% of revenue. It is also why those members are still there. Group classes fill the dead hours, 10 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. The room is paid for anyway, and habits form. Retail is small money. Water, bars, shakers, and towels might be 3 to 5% of revenue. Stock it thin and never let it expire. Rented lockers at $10 a month, day passes for visitors, and a corporate rate for the offices nearby. Small lines that pay one payroll.
What not to do. Do not discount the base price to fight the budget chain. You lose, and you train members to wait.
Staff. Labor is 20 to 30% of revenue, and the wrong structure here is how owners end up working 90 hours for nothing. The front desk is not a receptionist. That person sells memberships, books tours, and calls the members who stopped coming. Hire for that. Covering a desk from 6 in the morning to 10 at night, 7 days, takes 112 hours weekly. 3 people. Coaches are usually contractors who rent your floor or employees on a base plus commission. Contractors cost you less and stay loyal to themselves. Which is the risk? A coach with 40 clients can walk out on a Friday and take the whole book to the gym across town. So the members belong to the gym, not the coach. Put it in writing, keep the booking system in your name, and enforce it. Cleaning is not a chore you fit in. It is a paid shift, twice a day. A dirty locker room cancels more memberships than price. In year 1, you are the manager. Expect 60 to 70 hours a week, and pay yourself a real wage in the plan anyway. Hire a manager when you pass roughly 600 members. Before that, the salary buys you nothing that you could not do yourself. Launch. You do not open a gym on day 1. You start selling it 6 weeks before the equipment has even arrived on site. A table in the unit, a banner on the glass, a founder rate that is genuinely lower and genuinely ends. Bank that money. 200 to 300 pre-sold memberships is a good open. It also tells you whether the location works before you owe rent. Claim the map listing the day you signed the lease. Photos, hours, the right category. Most members find you on a phone. Ask every founding member for a review in the first month. 20 honest reviews outrank a competitor with 4, and it costs you nothing. Then a soft open, 2 quiet weeks with founding members only. They find the broken lock and the cold shower before strangers do. Walk the offices within half a mile. A corporate rate at 10% off fills your dead midday hours with light users. And the calendar matters more here than anywhere else. 30 to 40% of the year joins land in the first 6 weeks. Open in November or December and you catch that wave. Open in June and you pay rent for 7 months before it ever arrives. The first 90 days, 5 numbers, once a week on 1 sheet of paper. Everything else is noise until these 5 behave themselves. 1. Active paying members. Not signups, not leads, not the number in your phone. The count of people whose payment actually cleared this month. 2. Monthly churn. Cancellations divided by members at the start of the month. Watch it weekly, because quarterly it arrives far too late. 3. The share of new members who book a coaching session in their first 2 weeks. This one predicts your churn 3 months out. 4. Visits per member per month. Under 4 and they are already gone. They simply have not told their bank about it yet. 5. Rent as a percentage of revenue, above 25%, nothing else you fix will matter. That number comes down or you grow. With those 5, the fix is almost always the same. Call the members who stopped coming. A call in week 3 saves week 8. Also, fix the small physical things immediately. The broken locker, the dead light, the cold shower. Members read those as how much you care. And watch the 6 in the evening hour yourself, every week. Numbers on a sheet never tell you that the room feels full and unpleasant. After 90 days, the whole job becomes retention. 3 rules, and they are worth more than any marketing budget you will ever have. Rule 1. The first 30 days decide the next 30 months. A member who comes 8 times in month 1 usually stays a full year. So build a real onboarding, a booked first session, a second call, a check-in at week 4, unglamorous, and the whole business. Rule 2. Fix the room before you fix the ads. Clean, working, not crowded at peak. Members forgive an old machine, never a dirty shower. Rule 3. Know their names. A mid-sized gym cannot beat the budget chain on price, so it beats it on belonging. And when someone cancels, let them. 2 clicks. No phone call. No retention script. Half return within a year if you let them go clean. Scaling, a second site only makes sense when the first one runs without you for a month and clears 15% net margin. The second gym does not double your profit. It doubles your rent, your payroll, and your problems, and it splits your attention in half. If you sell a gym trades at 2 to 3.5 times yearly profit, clean books, transferable lease, low churn. So it is simple to describe and hard to run. Sell access to a room, keep it worth returning to, watch churn weekly. Quick note, this is general education, not financial or legal advice, and the numbers here reflect a typical mid-sized market. Your city will differ. Check your own rents, your own permit fees, and your own labor costs before you commit to anything. Every number here is a starting point. Next in this series, the self-service laundromat. Almost no staff, machines that run themselves, and a utility bill that decides whether you earn anything. If this was useful, subscribe so the next one finds you. And tell me in the comments which of these numbers you think is wrong.